disease is on the rise across the globe. The World Health Organization estimates that up to 17.5 million people across the world die each year from cardiovascular diseases. This is why the Belize Medical Associates is trying to bring the issue of heart health into focus for Belizeans.
Cardiovascular disease is one of the leading causes of morbidity, meaning reasons people go for consultation, and mortality, reasons people die throughout the world. And Belize, of course, is no exception. More and more we are seeing that these conditions, which now have a unique terminology, the non-communicable diseases, hypertension, diabetes, are leading more to heart disease and strokes. And definitely we thought as a group that we're going to do a little bit more focus on the heart diseases. Well, the main one that would immediately stand out is heart attacks, no? Myocardial infarctions, where people would have a sudden problem with the heart, where the blood flow through the coronary arteries that take blood to the heart muscles become obstructed, and that part of the heart suffer, which unfortunately can be a cause of sudden death. You know, somebody could be fine 1 minute and then starts complaining of certain symptoms like chest pains and just topple over and die. You know. The other big one that we see is what is called congestive heart failure, where the heart muscles become weak over a period of time, and it cannot do its function as a pump, because pretty much your heart is a pump. So when it starts failing in that sense, then you develop symptoms such as shortness of breath. Then we have some that are less common, such as valve problems of the heart. No? You develop these because of childhood diseases. The famous rheumatic fever can damage your heart and not show up until mid-20s, 30s, that kind of thing, and then you find a damaged heart valve that needs to be replaced, for example.
What puts someone at risk for heart disease? Well, pay attention to your behavior. Physical inactivity, poor diet, tobacco use are some of the main risk factors.
High blood pressure is a risk factor for heart disease. Diabetes is a risk factor for heart disease. High cholesterol, obesity for sure, lack of exercise, and last but certainly not least is smoking. Okay, cigarette smoke. I find that is perhaps one of the biggest risk factors that would contribute to the development of heart disease, especially for the congestive heart failure. What happens is that when you have high blood pressure, and especially the left side of your heart, which is the main part that pumps blood to the rest of your body, after having to go against that blood pressure, it makes the heart become enlarged, okay? And an enlarged heart is a weakened heart, okay? So over time, you lose that strength of the heart muscle because of the dilatation, because of the enlargement of the heart muscle, no? And then you develop congestive heart failure.
What can you do to avoid a heart attack? It starts with knowing your risk factors, symptoms, and most importantly, getting your checkup.
Curiously, females, unlike what sometimes is thought, do have a higher incidence of heart disease and these related conditions. So you go for your annual checkup, even though you might be feeling fine, even though you feel like you're athletic or doing well, you still go and go to your caregiver, get your annual checkup, where that person will be interviewed, their risk factors identified, their family history looked at, a general physical examination, and there's some basic blood tests that will need to be done, checking your cholesterol, checking your sugar levels. More than likely, one EKG, one baseline, what we call a baseline EKG, needs to be done to see if there's anything suspicious. Chest discomfort. I wouldn't even want to call it chest pain, because sometimes when you get to chest pain already, then it's a bit more serious. But any uneasiness, any chest discomfort needs to be checked. Shortness of breath, especially when it's progressive. Now you say, oh, I can remember earlier this year I started feeling this. Now I feel like I can't even put on my clothes without having to stop and rest. No? So those are definitely two of the main things, no? The chest discomfort and the shortness of breath.
This is why this year BMA has themed its anniversary celebration, Love Your Heart. In addition to a health fair on August 27th, The 28-year-old hospital will host a symposium with a visiting cardiologist.
And we are going to do a symposium next week where we're going to invite a Belizean American cardiologist to give us some words. Okay? And we've chosen him because he has seen Belizeans from out of Belize in the place where he works in the States. So he's quite familiar with our reality.